Good morning. Looks like we have a couple of participants on this morning sessions protecting the caves from the inside out. This one today I'm going to share my screen and show some videos and some pictures, just a little bit about myself. My name is Cristina Zenato. I've been living on Grand Bahama Island in the Bahamas for the last 26 years. And I discovered the world of cave diving on my 11th ever logged dive. I was here on the island. I finished my advanced course, and a local person who then became my mentor, Ben Rose, invited me to join him on a cavern tour. The cavern is the first room on the cave, so where you can still see the daylight. And I immediately fell in love with the overhead environment. It took me about 2 years. From the moment I did that one cavern dive to the time I became a full cave diver. And then about 2 years later, I started my work as a full cave diving instructor. And that will be about a year and a half work in order to do that. Meanwhile, I was cave diving on the island. There's quite a few caves that were known since the 1980s and the 1990s, and actually carried some of the most known cave explorers on this side of the world, but actually from the UK as well, from Rob Palmer to Shaq Exley to Dennis Williams. So there was quite a lot of environment that was already being explored that I have the opportunity to visit and to learn to cave dive a little bit more. The Bahamas have a karst terrain. A karst terrain is a rock made of limestone and is a sedimentary rock. That means it puts itself on top of each other and then slowly pushes down the levels, creating what we call bedding plains. So they're like stratifications. Some of this rock is called soft rock, and some of this rock is called hard rock. Through the millennials, and we're talking about millions and millions of years, this happened all throughout this archipelago. And then, depending on the ice age, there was a formation of caves through phreatic erosion of the water. And then during the vadose time, so during the dry time, we had dripping water that left the sediments in what are known as a stalactite and stalagmites. So currently the caves are flooded. So we're at the end of the ice, of the melting age. So we are at the highest level of the ocean. And the stalactites, stalagmites that we found in the caves obviously are not growing. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Let me see if it can allow me to do that. Good. And then I'm going to go into my slideshow, and hopefully you can see that. We have two kinds of caves here in the Bahamas. The first ones are what I call land-based caves. So will be the traditional, similar to a cenote. So you'll find the freshwater, the nice, clear environment, the stalactites, stalagmites. And then we also have the ocean blue holes. And they're called blue holes because when looked from above, for example, flying, they have this nice dark blues against the lighter colors of the Bahamian water, which tend to be more on a turquoise side. And these caves are at times connected through areas where I can physically swim through, or just connected through passageways that maybe are minuscules that where we can fit through, but like fish or particles can actually fit through. The importance of these connections of these caves is that quite a lot of them are connected with the mangroves. And in the mangroves here in the Bahamas is where we have our nursery grounds. So where we have our baby fish, we have baby sharks, and quite a lot of the corals. So it becomes the world that is secured within the mangroves that then will populate the reef that is out there. And it was very interesting for me because my background comes from shark and shark conservation. I was doing caves because I really love the caves. But it was during one of the cave expeditions, as I was standing in ankle deep water, that these baby sharks were swimming around my ankles, that I really made the whole connections about how the caves are so fundamentally connected with everything, the land, the mangroves, the ocean, ultimately the reef and the sharks. And that is what I call the interconnectivity of water. The work that I've been trying to do is just point out that if we want to protect, for example, the sharks, we actually have to go all the way back to protect the caves and the land. A lot of these caves have a freshwater lens. As you can see, it's a very pristine, clean, clear lens that sit on top of the saltwater lens. Sometimes it's not completely fresh, could be different salinity water that sit on top of each other, but we do have a freshwater lens that allows us actually to drink fresh drinking water out of the tap. You can see the demarcation of this difference between the black and the white. The white part of the cave is above the halocline, what we call the halocline, which is the transition between the less dense water and the much denser water, and the brown stuff is below that. So it's a very much marked area that actually shows into the decoration. The halocline is easily disturbed by a diver as it goes through. In this case, I'm just going through right now, and creates a blurry vision for a few seconds. And then the vision comes back as we transition through the halocline. We disturb that for a little bit, and then it just settles back again. It is an important demarcation line to determine how much fresh water has been used on the island, how the rain is affecting the level of the fresh water, how the increase in population and consumption is also affecting this. This is a video that was taken shortly after Hurricane Dorian, and you can see the effect of Dorian flooding the island as it basically, the water is completely hazy. That is not the traditional picture that you saw earlier on. So how do we do this? We have decided to create a map. Right now we're working on Grand Bahama Island, which is already quite a lot of work. Our island's about 110 miles long by 60 miles wide in the widest point. There are quite a lot of holes that are known by local people. They go there to fish because they attract a lot of fish. Some are in the bush and they know about it because maybe their home is right on it. But there's quite a lot of these holes that they just know, oh yes, there's a hole here and I'm not going in because I'm really scared. And so we decided we wanted to put all these holes and more on the map. So for now, what we've been doing is Google search. The yellow stars are the holes that we have identified as caves, and we also have laid line, or there was already line, and we've mapped it already. The red holes, the red stars are the holes that we have identified, tried to explore, and verified that there might have been a cave, but we can't enter. Maybe it's choked, there's been a collapse, the sediment, there's no conductivity into the cave itself. You can see here where there's a cave next to the other one. One is accessible and has been mapped, and the other one is not. And then the purple ones are holes that nobody has ever been in. We have identified as possible caves. We just need to explore. Now, these two purple ones are already yellow ones. We verified they're actually caves. So the first idea was to say, right, we have all these holes. Where are they? And what are the differences between one and the other? The next thing that we've decided to do is to actually dive each and every one of them. So this is an ocean blue hole, you can see from the amount of fish life. And so what we do is we go in and we start laying line. Now in the ocean blue holes, one of the decisions we have made is we lay the line, and immediately after my partner, Kevin Lorenzen, comes with this tool, which is called Nemo, created by Sebastian Kister, to survey the line. We then exit the cave and retrieve the line. The reason why is that through the years, I left lines inside an ocean blue hole, but because of the marine life and the growth and the switching in sands has become overgrown, completely covered in sand, and so it becomes trash. And so not only now we know where the hole is, but we come home and through Ariane's line, we create a map, and it's easier to say, hey, look, this is the hole. but this is also where the cave goes. So that was our first step, is identifying the holes and also saying, yes, there's a hole here, but it goes all the way there. And it's like, why are we doing that? For many different reasons. One is a kind of related, and forgive me for having like a broken up presentation. Obviously, these are all on different timelines. But this is the same cave that you just seen. And this is on the way out. After laying that line, we actually found plastic already wrapped around the line. We also find plastic that has been in the cave for quite some time. And in this part of the cave where I was laying the line and we were doing exploration, so exploration will be where no one else has been before, I can't reach with my line, but there's a plastic that is way beyond the level that I am. So within an hour of laying down the line, there was actually plastic that was flowing into the cave with the flow and was actually wrapping itself on a brand new line. And some of this plastic came from quite a far away. The big sheet that you see there came from a cruise ship. What does it mean? This is chimney hole to Mermaid Pond. I explored and connected this land-based cave to this ocean blue hole in 2012. It took me about 5 years of work. The water travels. So this is a chimney vortex and is siphoning the water. So it's sucking the water in on a specific tidal cycle. They do that twice a day. Twice a day, they siphon the water in, and twice a day, they spring the water out. And as they do that, anything that travels by in the open oceans, big sheets of plastic, minute particles, will be sucked into the cave and into the underground. But so is true the other way around. Whatever is thrown into the cave from the land part will eventually find its way into the open ocean part. As I could swim through, imagine what pollutant can do. So this is a healthy cave. We're back to Ben's cave. This is in the saltwater layer. And what you see, the orange stuff, is microbial growth. So these are animals in a certain way. This is a healthy cave and all is good. And this is underneath a natural environment, a forest. And this is the cave that I connected in 2011, which is under a native settlement and a developed area that's had no waste management plan. And so the microbial growth has expanded. So imagine now all of this can flow in and out, not only into the cave, but out into the ocean. And the ocean is connected to the fish, which is connected to the mangroves, which is connected to our reef. And this is where it basically, you can start seeing, right? We're on land, I pollute, it travels, it hits the mangroves, it hits the baby sharks, it hits the baby corals, it eventually will affect our reef and our fishery. So how do we bring them up? Quite a lot of work. I have quite a lot of people to thank through the years for their support. We use fairly advanced technology. I'm using a house camera, video lights, strobes, and I literally push this camera through miles of these passageways to reach every point into the cave that I want actually to portray. So we are trying to identify every single tunnel through photography and video. So that is one method. We use rebreathers, so KISS rebreathers, side mount, so that allows us to go anywhere. This was a 4-hour dive, carrying around the camera, trying to take video. And we have quite a lot of technology involved with all of this. Light monkeys for lights. We have dry suits from Waterproof. And I have to thank these people because they're being very, very supportive of our work. And what we do is we use this instrument. This is a underwater surveying tool created by mathematician Sebastian Kister. And it's capable of reading the line. So it has distance sensors and depth sensors and a compass. And here Kevin is actually showing, he's running this device along the line in Ben's cave. And as he's doing that, the device reads the direction in which he's going, the depth at which he's at, and the distance that is actually covered. And we do this on every single line in every single tunnel of the caves that we're working in. There's the two of us, so it's quite a lot of work. I have to say that I'm one of those people that COVID put quite a lot of stop on the income and the work that I could do from a living point of view, but really gave us a great opportunity to concentrate on this cave exploration survey and putting all these caves on the map. It's all done through the nonprofit People of the Water, and it allows us to basically create that. So this is what we do. We also work. This is a part of the island. As you can see, the trees, this is right after the hurricane. Here the water was about 30 feet high, so about 10 meters high. And it's just to give you an idea what it takes to go and prepare for the cave. And then we lay line and we create a grid. And still with Nemo, we then survey all this line and not only create maps like the one that you saw for Cemetery Hole, but right now we're also working on creating 3D maps. So a 3D map works on taking measurements along the walls of the room, across the room, and then also in height and depth. So there's quite a lot of work involved. Right now we're just doing it for the big rooms. And while we're doing that, again, we want to bring up all these places that we go and visit. So we show where the hole is, we show where the hole goes, but seeing a stick map on a Google Earth does not give us the idea of actually what's underneath everything and under our feet. So we want to also bring it up. So then we carry the camera after we're doing the survey and start doing all this work. And once we've completed all of that, I'm just going to fast forward a little bit, we actually survey it again, and then the RVMs creates this. This is a 3D of the entire cavern room. So that also gives us an idea of the volume. It's kind of hard for someone to think that on a little hole right at the entrance, this could be such a massive area underneath their feet. So again, bringing out visuals to have people understand a little bit more. And so this is how it works. We go in teams, so sometimes I go by myself. It depends. If we're doing a brand new tunnel, Kevin is behind me surveying. So I first do the video. And I basically swim through every single tunnel to create a video like this. And once the video has been collected, we want the video to give an impression as if someone is looking at it and as if they're swimming themselves down the cave. So basically sit in the middle of the tunnel and just take a video of everything that I see and the camera sees. And then what we do, we associate this video with the map. So if you actually look, this is the map. You see these yellow, bigger circles is moving along the map. And the yellow other circles are stationed. So anyone can say, oh, what's here? And they can click on the circle on the map. And they literally swim down the tunnel and they can actually see their progress through the map. So now they're doing three things. We have three things available. We've located the hole, we've created the map, and not only you can see where it goes on land, so for land development, coastal development, for distribution, where to drill, you have a physical on the map, but now people can also have an appreciation what's really beneath their feet by swimming through the tunnels with the same, basically with us in a certain way. So how do we use all these materials is we actually cooperate with the Bahama National Trust. So People of the Water is a nonprofit, and we use the nonprofit to assist us with having quite a lot of this technology to be able to go underground, underwater. And then the Bahama National Trust, we collect all this data and we make it readily available for them. And they are the ones that will directly talk with the government to promote expansions of marine protected area and the expansion of parks. So this is Ben's Cave. We go back to my first love, my 11th dive. The red rectangle is the present marine protected area. It has some mangroves included here at the bottom. As you can see, the caves also goes from the mangroves, but it has basically the parking lot and not even a third of the cave. The current NPA under revision is in the yellow rectangle, and that is almost approved. So we're doing good on that one. But Anaconda is a cave, and then here there's another cave. We discovered that there's even more interconnectivity. So we are actually hoping to be able to have a full expansion that will include about 4 different systems. They don't physically connect, meaning a human can physically swim between them, but from the geological position and how they're placed and where the mangroves are, chances are they're all connected through the water flow. So we're actually providing all this data, trying to have people want to protect it. How are we going to share all of this? Is through interactive maps on the park, tablets that people can use to actually say, oh, where am I standing? And I can actually look, says you are here. Pictures that we will print and put onto laminated areas so that somebody can actually be in the middle of the forest underneath the tree and actually look at the picture and say, oh, I didn't know there's such a beautiful room below my feet. So the hope is not only to expand this park, but to enhance all this conservation through the work that we're doing. So if you want to look into more of the exploration that we've done, we're working on different holes. Like I said, we have 2 brand new caves. We found quite a lot of leads. You can go on pownonprofit.org under exploration. It has really all the list of the work we've done. And then if you're more interested in communicating directly with me about my work, wanted to learn cave dive or understand a little bit more, you can come to CristinaZenato.com.